Ladies and boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, you're probably wondering, where the hell's the face cam, bro? Listen, my computer is genuinely about to blow up. All right, it is literally about to blow up. This thing has been running on such low frames consistently for this whole day. So I need to make sure and figure out that, whatever the problem is, I got to fix it. So me recording this video, there might be moments where we lag, maybe the voice sounds weird, but I'm going to try my absolute best to power through this, which is why there's only going to be 2 videos uploaded today. And maybe I'll just pre-record Turbo in advance, but I think I'm going to have to solve my issue first. Listen, overall though, right, let's talk about the markets. The markets are looking really, really good, right? This is what we talked about the last few days and what we expected to happen, right? Once we swept this area, there was no other area for the markets to really go, right? You could have debated that 92,000, there was a gap, and I totally agree. But here's the thing. We always valued the global liquidity, especially for the last few weeks, and nothing suggested that we should be pulling back down to all the way to 92K, right? In fact, if we did, I would actually be very, very concerned, as it means we're not following global liquidity, as it means, we are pulling back a lot. And this is also very important to note. We are in June, which is important. Why is June important? Well, because June is the last month for this 3-month candle, right? It is the last month for this 3-month candle. When we had the January, February, March candle, we were talking about how, there's no going up until April, right? We talked about that. And then, once we're closer to April, I said, hey guys, expect some kind of sweep of this 3-month candle, right? This black one over here. That's exactly what happened. When we go down, we can see the first week we swept, but then we instantly started to go up and up and up. And we can see over the last couple of weeks, we have officially closed bullish. And we can see, in fact, Bitcoin has officially flipped bullish, right? The thing is, we started at around, let's say, just say a little bit under 107,000 this week. At one point, we were almost at 100,000, and now we have recovered in just 2 days. And here's an impressive thing, right? Saturday is kind of powering through, right? It's gone up 2,000, which is impressive for a Saturday, because usually on a Saturday, it's like it moves $200 to $300, just ranges. It's the slowest thing ever. So I believe Sunday is going to be for me, I'd say like a 3.5 to 5K move to the upside, which officially is going to make us really, really bullish, right? So my bias is still the same, that we are going to be looking to be expanding. I do expect roughly, let's just say maximum by mid-June to be at 120,000. We have broken from this big daily range, and I expect it to continuously pump very, very hard and aggressively. We can see that Bitcoin has fundamentally been just going up and up and up and up, right? There hasn't been any big pullback. And the thing is, sometimes the markets, they just don't have to, because if you fundamentally keep retesting on the smaller time frames, right, you have a little decent pullback here, nothing crazy, right? We most likely will pull back to 104K at one point, just because there is actually a gap somewhere. I don't know where the gap literally is, because it doesn't show on TradingView, but I did see it on Meta on my MT4. So I know we're probably going to pull down roughly 1,000, 1,500 at most, retest to continue to push higher, right? I expect Sunday to push very, very well. And then of course, that means we are going to close the week very, very bullish, most likely, because we are bullish now. And this is a huge rejection. We can see this is a very huge rejection. And what happens usually when there's some type of big rejection? Well, we can see, right? Last time, actually multiple times, there's a big rejection. Go down here in 2023, the beginning, boom, rejection. I saw this, and then I practically bought a lot of Bitcoin somewhere down here, because that was my confirmation. Boom, I saw this. I remember I bought a lot of other altcoins because I knew altcoins were also going to pump. I remember I saw this and I was like, all right, sooner than later, we are going to start pumping again, right? Again, boom, right? This weekly ends very, very nicely. Same thing here. The candle was a little different, because the body candle was still really strong. So, but I knew, because of the context, because of what we expected, global liquidity, the 3-month sweep, manipulation, I did expect to push higher and higher. Some people think the tops are in, and nothing suggests that as of right now. Literally nothing, okay? In fact, it suggests that we do want to expand. even just the data that we see in front of us, this top looks much, much different than this and this over here. We can see that when we did have some kind of top, we went up and slammed down, breaking certain type of structure. And then even though we were kind of consolidating, trying to push up for the next couple of weeks, we had this high in terms of candle closes, and then we closed lower here, indicating that we were going to push down. Okay, so when we look at this, nothing really suggests it, right? Especially after that we did sweep all these 3 weekly candles, and now we have officially turned bullish. I only expect good things from now on. I expect global liquidity to, continue showing how it's like and continue to match with our charts. I expect altcoins to be rising consistently, right? The thing is, a lot of altcoins, what they needed to do was really take out the last monthly candle. So we can see we took out the last monthly candle for Caspa, we swept liquidity, and now we are starting to recover. When we go to something like XRP is a little bit different case, but it's also the same thing. It swept this last monthly candle, right? It swept it, and now we are recovering. ICP, right? We did not sweep this, but, for a lot of coins, we did. For a lot of coins, Turbo, yes, we swept this last monthly candle. Boom, we can see we swept this. Now we're getting a rejection. Pangolin, we haven't done that, right? So not every single coin is going to do that, but a lot of them did, which is why I expect for us to be very, very bullish over the next little bit. Remember, each coin has its own context. It still has its own structure. It still has its own narrative and actually how good it is. So not everything is going to be literally 100% the same, but we can see a lot of coins did, right? A lot of coins did do what we expected it to do. Now, here's the thing, right? Here is the thing. We are still continuously dropping down with the dominance. I do expect to probably get to this 6.50 range. We could technically end up just at the 7% before we start reversing. So that is just something to keep in mind. But overall, the general picture is the same. Here's the thing. Dominance could be going down, right? Because Bitcoin dominance is suggesting to continuously rise. So, they kind of, when Bitcoin dominance rises in general, the other's dominance coin goes down in general. It doesn't have to be that way 100%, but is that way like 98% of the time. So, right, I expect Bitcoin dominance to continue up. I expect others to drop. And then, it doesn't mean altcoins necessarily are going to be done for. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that. What it just means is that, Bitcoin is still going to be getting pumped. And the reason why altcoins can still go up with Bitcoin dominance going up is because I believe the total market cap is going to start shooting up very, very aggressively just over the next few months. Right? I expect within a couple months already to be at 5 trillion, 6 trillion, possibly up to 8 trillion. Now, I can't tell you 100% where it's going to end. The only thing I can say is, hey guys, there are reversal signs for this. Data saying this, right? If there's multiple data points suggesting that there are going to be, the top is in, right? Then of course, that's when I could say, hey guys, this cycle is most likely over, or at least the first pump, if we get a second pump, right? So yeah, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy. Thankfully, my computer did not blow up. Hopefully the audio sounded all right. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye. Portfolio reviews, economic and global updates and news, frequent up-to-date technical analysis, and a very supportive community. Sell and buy calls and trading education is provided. If that sounds good to you, now is the time to act. Once the markets start moving, there is no I should have, coulda, woulda. Now is the time. If you want to take things to another level, we have the blueprint that covers everything from A to Z in crypto that you need. No fluff, no bullshit, just the most important news, fundamentals, and technicals to have you succeed in these markets.